And we're live. Good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully everybody's doing well and ready to sit back for an hour and just kind of discuss blockchain. Hope everything's going well. I do have a question to start off. Actually, Robert, could you post in there for everybody to say hi in the chat? Ariana's here, that's good. We also have a survey that Robert's going to put up really quick that pertains to our first subject. And today, hi Terry and Brandon, Ebony, good to see you. Good to see you. Anyway, so the first survey is going to pertain to our first subject. Now, you'll notice that two of the articles that I'm going to do pertain to subjects that have been submitted by members in the discussion question or the current events article question. So it's one way that I can highlight something that somebody submitted that's really important. We can have an extra chance to talk about it and get familiar with it. One is going to be the digital credentials for a particular school, and they highlight McMaster Engineering in that one. The next one is talking about the digital art aspect of blockchains and how it can allow you to buy portions of fine art. And I'll show you a website that actually has implemented it, which takes it a little bit farther than what the article did. So I am glad to hear that 63% have not lost their ID. The challenge I have is what happened to the other 37%? Oof. 37% had a bad day. Oh, not good. Anyway, so those 36%, it would be nice if we had a blockchain, and in order to steal our identity, they had to be able to hack into a blockchain and be able to do it that way. My wife and I went to an event in St. Louis, and we got a hotel room, and we got back from that trip. We only got the hotel room for the one night and got back from the trip. The only place that my credit card was out of my possession was at that hotel, and that's why I talk about a hotel room. So part of the challenge with that was that shortly after I looked at my bank account ledger, and all of a sudden I've got a charge for this dating site and a charge for another dating site and a charge, I can't remember what the third one, but there were three separate charges. Luckily, they were small potato stuff. All three charges amounted to less than $100. So, no real big deal, but it forced me to cancel that debit card because I know it was in the wild. Obviously could be used on an online site, so I had to cancel the debit card and do all that nonsense of getting the credit card reestablished. So that can be a kind of a traumatic experience when you lose something as critical as an ID. This particular one is going to talk about moving around your educational criteria. So let's move to that. You want to put up that next survey, and then you can answer the next survey while we start talking about this. This article, I can't remember exactly who submitted it, and that's probably not important. But this particular article highlights the fact that blockchain could be the vehicle by which you can transfer information, and being able to transfer information becomes important more so in the digital age. I know that when we interviewed candidates at Boeing for particular jobs, we're always concerned about whether their resumes that they submitted were valid. the big concern there is, of course, you want people who are legitimately qualified for the job and not just inflating grades or inflating their actual experience. So it becomes really important to be able to share your credentials and do so in an honest way. The problem is the world is making it very difficult with the number of people who are trying to get around the system or game the system for legitimate people to get jobs and get experience in areas and move forward in their job careers because they have a hard time sharing their credentials and having them believed, especially if you've got a good resume. So this particular one article is talking about micro-credential implementation. Now, if I clicked on this link, it would take you to a peer-reviewed article that this article is based on. So what the person has done nicely is they've taken a peer-reviewed article that is written in what I call doctor speak, would have been the kind of papers that I would have written going for my doctorate and write if I were to write for journals. It's really not appropriate for layman's sort of consumption because it gets extremely technical, talks about all the ways that they surveyed people and all that stuff. So it's nice that this article was boiled down to that. And so it highlights the idea that student records stored on a blockchain limit access to only legitimate users, such as institutional administrators or potential employers or people that you want to have that information. Okay, so we have this poll in. Have you struggled to get or send school credentials? Okay, 63% have had a challenge in sharing school credentials. I know that I did. Good heavens, when I had a small stint at a junior college. I had my high school credentials, and then once I got done with the junior college, I had another stint at that same junior college, and I had to get those credentials over, and then they had to be all evaluated. And this was back in the days where we just shuffled paper around. We didn't have anything digital. So it has gotten more difficult by degrees as we have gone into the digital age, where a lot of places don't even accept paper resumes anymore. You have to go onto their website and log in and put in your information. And then you have to somehow electronically connect. In fact, if Boeing would not validate my income to potential employers without doing it digitally, they would only give you a link so that company could then get the link and get information directly from Boeing. So it's gotten to that level, and this is trying to solve that problem, giving the user a chance to own their own data, which is the key here. Owning your own data means that you can share that data with whomever you please and give them the public key for that information, because blockchains are built on public and private keys. And so you give them a public key to that information, and they can then access just your information, and you can update it. Now, this doesn't come without some risk as well. So it looks like Tristan just signed in, Robert. While it can verify your accomplishments and while it can allow you to put information in there, there's always the risk that when I want to share information with a particular employer or interested party, somebody that I want the information, I may have a challenge in customizing the information. Like if I'm applying with an aerospace company and I'm applying for a coding job with an aerospace company, I'm going to want to share aerospace-based information or focus, okay? If I'm going to apply at another university other than Lindenwood University, I'm going to want to share the Lindenwood or teaching-focused information that I've taught at Lindenwood for the last 12 years. So there is that challenge of how do I modify the focus like I could on a normal resume. So don't know that they've particularly solved that problem. Also, what if some bad information gets on your resume? Are you ever able to outlive or change bad information that exists there. I believe in people's right to improve, to grow, to change, and sometimes digital systems like that don't allow you the chance to change. It's almost like a social engineering score, okay? And social engineering scores, can really suck if you were a teenager and you weren't the person that you are today, for example, and would like to not be that person anymore. So you can securely validate your learning. McMaster University is the particular example given here. And so you can go to their university using this link. If you are able to find this article, I will go ahead and post the link to this article in the text, or in the notes below the video when it's recorded. Okay. Privacy of data, here's the potential of concerns. What if a student loses their key? A lot of cryptocurrency issues with people losing their key. I imagine this would be a permissioned blockchain, which means you would have an access administrator like you do with a lot of, like, your Amazon account or your bank account, and you could get your password reset and such like that. I would imagine that that facility would be embedded in this kind of a blockchain, especially one that's so important as all your credentials. I know it's important if you lose money on a Bitcoin network, but it would be nice to have that facility on a public-private network. Yeah, Robert?
Yeah, speaking of resumes, there's that same issue where, you're told to list your skills and abilities. Well, that's sort of been augmented by all the certificates you can get these days. There are a lot of programs and companies which are trying to supplement your standard education, which you can get at a university, with other certificates in highly specialized areas. And those, I think, work really, really well with this sort of blockchain concept of being able to add these extra certificates to your name, and they're all verified on the blockchain, as opposed to, okay, well, now I have a resume in front of me. I have to call 20 different companies to check with all 20 of them. Are all these 20 certificates valid and current and applicable, and do they really have them? Or do they just write that, oh, well, they know the Microsoft Office suite? Great. There's just listing your skills doesn't help anyone, doesn't really verify anything. So this can help with that verification as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good article. This is really what we're looking for, in what blockchain can do to help business or to help individuals in various different disciplines. So another article was posted about digital art, and that kind of caught my eye a little bit. Blockchain and the digital art renaissance, the new era of ownership and authenticity. And the reason I wanted to post this article is we, hey, good to see you, Sean, is that we wanted to, I wanted to address the idea of NFTs, because what's that monkey site about NFTs, Robert?
The Bored Ape Yacht Club.
The Bored Ape Yacht Club, thank you.
Took me a moment.
I mean, that genre of NFTs kind of gave NFTs a bad name, because the whole idea was really what's contained in this article, and not the idea of the Bored Apes type of thing where you change the color of their nose and you've got a unique piece of art. That really kind of, wasn't the idea. The idea was literally being able to own art that was legitimate and significant. So I'm going to show you this article, then I'm going to show you a site that's actually implemented what this article discusses. So the whole idea is, in the context of digital art, blockchain technology is used to create non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, unique digital assets that represent ownership of a specific piece of art. Okay, so let's tear that apart a little bit. Non-fungible. Non-fungible is a finance term. Okay? Non-fungible means that they are unique tokens. In other words, if I own a Bitcoin token and you own a Bitcoin token, my Bitcoin token doesn't look any different, doesn't work any different, doesn't act any different. It's on a blockchain. It's identical to your Bitcoin token. In the same moment, they're actually worth the same. On and on and on. Everything about a Bitcoin token is fungible. I can exchange it back and forth, and you will take it and understand that it's identical to every other Bitcoin token that you've ever known. Okay? Now, a non-fungible token means that it isn't exchangeable in that way. In other words, when I own a non-fungible token, it's unique. You have to understand what mine represents and what mine does. It's going to be a different value than other tokens on the blockchain. It's going to be associated differently with the various different ownership on that blockchain. It could be, for that matter, a security token, a token that allows you to get into websites. It could be a token representing a piece of real estate or a contract on an insurance blockchain. It could be any number of It could be any number of unique items that could be tied to that token and allows you then to transact back and forth quicker and easier. Now, in the idea of art, the non-fungible token took a second dimension. Instead of simply representing a contract between you and me, between me and somebody that I wanted to contract with to own property or to insure my car or various items like that, the idea of non-fungible token in art began to actually represent something that could be exchanged. And so you have the birth of the digital art that, of course, people went crazy on and created the Bored Apes Yacht Club and its various permutations. So in this way, you are allowed to actually own real art. Now let me show you a site that actually accomplishes this. Mycenas is a website that actually implements the idea of non-fungible tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. It is an ERC-20 token. ERC-20 is a specification of a token on a blockchain. That specification allows it to be traded and exchanged, sold, and exchanged between users. Okay, it's the blockchain-based platform that allows anybody to buy, sell, trade, and trade part ownership in the masterpieces on a liquid exchange. In other words, if I was to go try to buy a Van Gogh, first off, I'd have to have millions of dollars to do so. If I had the millions of dollars, I'd go to an auction house like, let's say, Sotheby's in New York, and I would go to them and they'd have this piece of art up for sale. Hopefully, that piece of art is authentic and it's legitimate, okay? If that's the case, then I could plunk down my millions of dollars and I own a piece of art. Well, the challenge there is once I own that piece of art, Sotheby's just took 50% from the persons that sold that art to me, which means in order for that person who sold it to me to make any money at all, it had to already appreciate by 50%, and that's just standard fee. Okay, so Sotheby's makes a lot of money not owning things. Great business if you can, if you can do it. So this allows you then to, as I continue to scroll down, their whole idea was to try to make art investing available for anybody. And so anybody means you and me. If I make my paycheck at Lindenwood or I make my paycheck at Boeing and I put it in the bank, and after I pay my bills and buy my food and stuff, there's a little bit left over. Well, that little bit left over can buy fine art now. A piece of it, a small piece of it, but not only can I buy it, but as it appreciates in value, that token can be then sold to others who want to also buy pieces of art. So multi-million dollar artworks are broken up into asset tokens, digital units that can be bought and sold easily. literally at a fraction of the cost. Buying an asset token is like buying a share in an artwork. Now, we understand shares, right? If you want to go buy part of Boeing, you can buy shares in Boeing. And we understand going to the stock market and buying a share of a company. You have voting rights. You technically have a little bit of ownership in the company. If you buy enough shares, you've got enough influence to actually force the Boeing company to go in certain directions, okay? So it's nice that I can buy a piece of the company rather than trying to have to buy the whole thing, okay? So here it says, traditional auction houses charge up to 25% commission on sales. Galleries up to 50% on those sales. These fees, because they're on a blockchain and they sell it in small pieces, are as low as 1% for the buyers and 8% for the sellers. Still a bigger markup for the seller than for the buyer, but still it creates liquidity. And that's the whole thing, is if I want to buy that Van Gogh that I talked about, I can buy a part of that Van Gogh and be an art investor. Who would have thought? Now, art is going up in value quite a bit. People are liking the idea of owning art in times of uncertainty. So here you've got an opportunity to do so. And it's available to everyone once they do their due diligence. In other words, you have to create an account on this blockchain with Maecenas. Once you do that, then you can deposit some fiat currency with them in order to make your purchases. It actually is quite, they make it sound quite easy. I've not actually done it yet. So, the nice thing about it is they have already accomplished the provenance. In other words, they have gone and researched in the background the value and the actual validity of the artwork, whether it's good, whether it is actually a Van Gogh or a fake. So everything is on them at that point. And here they talk about it's on the ERC20 protocol, it's on the Ethereum blockchain, it can be traded there, and it's unique. And of course, each token then, instead of being a Bitcoin token where all the Bitcoin tokens go up and down in value, your particular token would go up and down in value based on what it's underlying, the share of the artwork that is underlying that particular token. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, we put a poll in chat that we have 18 responses from, and I am astounded to say that 22% of the viewers have purchased and are still holding an NFT.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of surprised at how high that is. That's pretty cool.
Of those 22%, has it gone up or down in value since they bought it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that. How much actual value is there?
Yeah,
in those NFTs
throw that
you
in the
bought?
poll and see if those 25% now can go ahead and
Actually, go ahead and just respond in the chat room. Tell us,
in
for
the chat.
those of you.
Tell us if it's gone up or down.
That's really cool.
So
I think I want to disagree a little bit with the article before this, however, because it talked about how the concept of an NFT secures digital art. And I say, hogwash.
Well, it secures something. It doesn't have to be digital art.
What Maecenas does is provide provenance and can help secure real art. And all they're doing is their certification happens on a blockchain, which is more secure than writing your name on a certificate. So I totally agree when it comes to Maecenas. But the article was trying to say that digital art didn't have any way to protect their copyright and prove ownership. Well, I'm sorry, you could still right-click Save As on any NFT. Anybody who wants to copy it does not do anything to prevent somebody from copying and taking an NFT. Nothing whatsoever. It does provide a record, but usually signing the art provides a record too, and that kind of works as well. Unfortunately, digital art is still just ones and zeros, and ones and zeros can always be copied and can always be edited.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
Good point, Robert.
That's my little rant, but it looks like Lamar says down for the most part, unfortunately.
Especially recently.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So out of the 22 votes, we should have about 4 people then that 4 to 5 people that says yes, they still have them. So it would be nice to hear from those other folks. Okay, Ariana says Reddit was giving away free NFTs last year. Well, hopefully they went up in price. I still have them, but it's not worth very much. Price has gone up slightly. Yeah, okay.
That's actually how I first got into crypto when Doge became a big deal on Reddit, and they made bots where you could tip people in Doge, for making comments on Reddit. So yeah, I got a wallet with a bunch of Doge in it forever ago. Unfortunately, I have something like somewhere in the 5 digits of Doge, and I don't have access to the wallet anymore. But but yeah, that gets people into crypto in some way or another. Those sorts of things, which is pretty cool.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Very good. So that's Mycenas, and I thought Mycenas was very interesting. Occasionally, Mycenas pops up on my Brave advertising. And so that's how I happen to know about them. Alrighty. Any questions before I launch into our next subject? All right. I don't see a whole bunch of questions rolling in, so let's go to our next subject.
I have to say, I just looked at the price of Doge, and now I regret it.
Really? What's it at now?
6 cents.
And you had 3 figures, you said?
5 figures. I had something like 12,000, 13,000 Doge, yeah.
And at 6 cents a piece, it would have do a little bit of, about $600 or so.
That's some good cash. Oh, well.
Yeah.
It's a rent payment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. One thing that we talk about in the class is how does blockchain impact business and help businesses to lower costs, to lower the friction of intermediaries, to help the whole business side of transacting. And one of the major players I've talked about before is IBM. They have created some blockchain solutions that are out there and very public. If the YouTube channel that you're watching this live stream on, I'm having a hard time with words today for some reason, that you're watching this live stream on has an article about Golden State Foods, for example, and Walmart, both of them. If you search Walmart and blockchain, you'll see the CEO of Walmart speaking in front of a crowd as they were in the process of implementing the Food Trust database from IBM. So I'm going to take you to IBM. If you go to ibm.com/blockchain, you get to this page, and this page has a whole bunch of information on what they have done in the blockchain space. And the place I like to go occasionally just to see if they've got any updates is these case studies. Because the case studies literally tell you who is actually implementing blockchain. And some of the names, of course, you'll recognize. So Home Depot, I think I've shopped there a few million times before. IPWE, when you have intellectual property, here's a blockchain that can manage, help you monetize, and help you control your intellectual property if you're a company that has patents and information like that. We talked about Exceed last week. Okay, so that's the Renault case study that we talked about last week. So now you're seeing my tricks here. You can see the fact that I come here a lot. Exceed, I got information from here. Here's Golden State Foods down here. Food freshness here. Vin Assure to what traceability, profitability, eat provenance. What's this one about? I can't remember. It looks like it's food there as well. So you can read these case studies and see what they're doing in the blockchain space to actually help and support businesses. And this is a particularly good one if you want to come here and find articles, find companies, find a springboard to go find articles to post in the weekly article, current events articles. You can actually see what's happening in the industry here. So it's good. Now, here they have several different categories of blockchains. Banking and financial, of course, is a big one. We know about that. Healthcare and life sciences. There's a lot of. They have one implemented for a pharmaceutical company that they talk about in that under that particular one. Government has implemented in a lot of different areas. California is in the process of implementing a blockchain to help with their driver licensing and titling of vehicles. So a lot of good places that you can go to get resources. Another place is a place kind of, I don't really like them too much, but what's that world organization that has a lot of good information on blockchain?
Isn't it the WEF that does it?
No, that's the World Economic Forum. Is it WF? Oh, sorry, W4. My broken hand is still having a hard time. I still can't feel this finger or this thumb. So it's healing, but I still struggle with typing, not being able to feel these three fingers. WEF. Yes, Economic Forum. That's who I was thinking of. If you go to the World Economic Forum, and I believe we can do a search somewhere on this page. They have so much stuff out here. I mean, they're just they're beyond.
I looked WEF blockchain.
Okay.
And they have a number of articles on it.
Yeah, WEF block. Okay, can you just pass me what extension on the
/agenda/blockchain.
I'm a touch typist, and when you can't feel your fingers, it's hard to be a touch typist. Ugh. Anyway, okay, so hard year for crypto. They'll talk a lot about crypto. By the way, they do not like crypto, okay? The World Economic Forum thinks that crypto is the next Satan, and they want to abolish it because, number one, World Economic Forum wants control over the economy, which means they want control over your wallet. And it's hard to control a Bitcoin wallet. So it's not a good place to go get information about crypto because you'll get a negative slant on every article if you get it there. But the distributed ledger technology is incredible there. Abalafia, interesting. So a lot of... I'm not seeing the big dial thing that I was hoping to see. Remember that big dial thing that you could... These are the agenda articles in particular. There's that big dial that you could go into all the industries off of the center of the... Are you finding it?
I'm looking for it.
All right. And I missed the C on blockchain. Okay. Strategic intelligence. Blockchain strategic intelligence. There it is. There's my dial. That page right there. If we could put that in the text. This one allows you to... Blockchain is in the center and allows you to go into all of these areas, and it'll go into the fourth industrial revolution, for example, which is where they think that the technology is going. They are incredible advocates of AI because AI can control a lot of people really easy. So, do be a little bit... They're not They're not an organization that believes in the First Amendment of free speech, or that people should own property, or that people should, be free to do anything they want. So do be careful in that respect. But they have a ton of good information on who is implementing blockchain and all the different industries that that blockchain is working in. Like here's cybersecurity that we talked about 2 weeks ago, for example. So social protection. Ooh, that sounds dangerous to me. But anyway, a lot of good information here. So if you're looking for articles to post on the current events, there's 2 huge sources. Just understand the focus of your source. It's just like, you just have to be careful where you get your information from. Like you wouldn't want to find out about conservative values from the New York Times. It's that kind of thing. You just have to figure out who has the best information for what you want to find. Okay? Any questions?
I say the same thing. I know Coinbase does a whole lot of work to promote a lot of articles about cryptocurrencies and whatnot, but they always have the rose-colored glasses on. Mm-hmm. In their mind, every new coin that comes out is going to revolutionize the world, and so I have to take that with a grain of salt and understand, okay, where's the real value add? We talked about that in our Kahoot, I think, last week. How do you add value in a company? How does a blockchain gain its value? And it's by doing something more, doing something better, right? You don't just get value in a crypto because it's got a cool name and logo. So as you're analyzing,
but Bitcoin does.
Well, Bitcoin did do something unique and did something new. Does just like Ethereum with the ERC20 that we talked about earlier today. ERC20 is something
smart
unique.
Contracts.
Smart contracts are super valuable and something that didn't exist before, and so that's why Ethereum still exists, why Bitcoin still exists.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's exactly why Ethereum still exists. I think a world with just Ethereum and Bitcoin would be probably all we would need, although there's some other innovative blockchains that do some good niche things that Ethereum, just because it tries to meet everybody's needs, that Ethereum doesn't quite do as well as they could if they were able to focus. So, all right. Do we have any more questions at all? Because I am done, because we didn't have a Kahoot today. I am done sharing all that I wanted to share this time, so that hopefully we have a few of our master's students. I'll have to look and see which ones. I know that we have a couple master's students as well as the master's students that are the bulk of everybody that's here. So yeah, Terry is from the master's class. So anyway, I haven't memorized everybody's name in the master's class yet. Sorry.
How dare you?
How dare me? Yes. I mean, I wish we could teach face-to-face again. I mean,
yeah.
It was fun teaching face-to-face. That's not why you're here in this class, because you like the idea. By the way, I did my entire master's degree and my entire PhD online with the University of Phoenix. So I love the online abilities to do when I needed to, meet. You have to get things in on time, but at the same time, I could work ahead if I wanted to. I wasn't restricted by everything. I usually had good access to the instructors, some better than others. I have my favorites. I had my favorites. So anyway, I think we're done, unless I'm seeing any more questions pop up. We'll look forward to seeing everybody again next week. We'll let everybody go just a little bit early. Go ahead and sign off, would you please, just by telling me that you're still here. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Okay.